Soldiers in a plane heading to a war front are gloomy about their apparent suicide mission to stop a secret Nazi superweapon, but one soldier has faith in their own weapon, the super soldier, Captain Steve Rogers. The soldiers jump from their plane and land, engaging the enemy. Captain Rogers flies a plane full of bombs into the enemy stronghold and blows their entrance up, allowing his forces to advance into the stronghold where they see a massive nuclear missile. He comes upon Nazi scientists working with aliens. At that moment a war general, Klein, whom the captain knows by name, appears. They engage in battle, and during the fight it's revealed that Klein is also an alien. The Nazis launch their missile and Captain Rogers jumps onto it to try and stop it. Klein follows him onto the missile to try and stop him, but Captain America knocks him off the missile and drops in the grenade, blowing up the missile. As the missile is blown up along with some alien ships, Captain Rogers falls out of the sky into the ocean, thinking of the love of his life, Gale. We cut to deep beneath the Arctic Sea. I'm an underwater submarine carrying General Nick Fury and Professor Betty Ross. They discover something in the ice and send a drone out to get it. In the ice, they discover the frozen body of Captain Rogers, now known to history as Captain America. They return to S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters and bring the captain's cadaver in to thaw. Betty goes to inform Dr. Bruce Banner of the discover. Meanwhile, scientists begin to thaw out the captain's body. We then meet Dr. Banner, who's unenthusiastically onboarding a set of additional researchers to help with the Super Soldier program, a program which was lost along with Captain Rogers. While giving them an explanation of the rebirth chamber, Betty runs in and excitedly tells Dr. Banner that they've found him. While his body is being studied, Steve wakes up from his decade-long slumber and attacks the scientists around him. He's confused and thinks he's still in enemy territory. Even Nick Fury in a stealth suit couldn't stop him. As Steve finds his way outside, he's astonished by what he sees and reassured by Fury that the Allied powers won the war. Out in space, 2 astronauts activate a new S.H.I.E.L.D. satellite. They're using the satellite to find Vibranium and Chitauri spaceships. One is immediately detected and heading towards the satellite. As the astronauts try to return to their ship, the Chitauri ship destroys the satellite and the spaceship attached to it. Fury's superiors, having seen what happened to the satellite and crew, order him to launch another one, which will take a week. In that time, he is to begin recruitment for the super-secret Project Avenger. Fury disagrees with this decision, but is overruled. Steve Rogers is now recuperating while being studied by S.H.I.E.L.D. scientists. Bruce is supervising and Betty brings him his medications. They have a small fight where we find out they were previously romantically involved, but broke up because Bruce couldn't control himself. Fury walks in demanding results on the super soldier serum and Bruce demands to be taken off his meds because he believes they're slowing him down. Fury rejects it because the Hulk previously went on a rampage. Betty then tells Fury she's waiting on parts from Tony Stark for the rebirth chamber but can't get a hold of him. We then cut to Tony Stark at a lavish party in his building. A beautiful woman with red hair, in a red dress, catches his eye. She's Russian and he's intrigued. She manages to seduce him and lure him into a private room, where she reveals herself to be Fury's #1 S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow. Fury was also sitting inside, waiting for him. They discussed the parts that Tony owes S.H.I.E.L.D. and he said that they shipped out the same morning. Fury then begins to inquire on how to contact the hero known as Iron Man because he believes that Tony built his armor. Tony claims to not know and then leaves. Fury continues to prod but only gets Tony to give him additional weapons. Meanwhile, Steve is resting in a medical room in S.H.I.E.L.D. and discusses the super soldier program with Dr. Banner. Bruce then takes a blood sample, but his hands were a bit shaky. He passes it off as excitement, stating that the program means everything to him. Bruce then gives Steve the photo of his girl Gale, telling her she's alive. Fury and Black Widow then arrive at Pym Industries. They encounter Hank Pym, aka Ant-Man, who still holds a grudge against Fury for picking Bruce Banner over him for the super soldier serum. Fury has a meeting with Hank's wife, Janet Van Dyne, aka Wasp. It's about joining the superhuman team he's putting together. She declines as she's unsure if she fits, but says that she'll join if her husband can come too. Fury adamantly opposes that, but Janet brings him in to see what Hank's been working on. He's developed the ability to grow tremendously in size. They're both welcome to the team. Fury then leaves to try and meet with Iron Man, who's currently attempting to rescue a falling plane. Iron Man manages to set the plane down over water before quickly leaving after noticing S.H.I.E.L.D.'s presence. Fury chases him and he gets knocked down by a surprise hit from a giant Hank. Fury invites him to the team but he refuses, insults and destroys their Stark weapons, and then flies off. Steve Rogers is then taking a stroll through his old neighborhood in New York and arrives at his old friend and former army mate's house, Bucky Barnes. He learns that his wife Gail, after grieving for so long, later married Bucky. Steve asks about her, but she's not prepared to see him yet. He then finds out that, unfortunately, all his other army buddies are dead and goes to visit their graves. As he begins to waver and question why he was even brought out of the ice, Fury reassures him that his country still needs him. Later, on the way back to S.H.I.E.L.D., Fury fills Steve in on the rest of his team, specifically Thor, the Norse god of thunder. We then see Thor and a group of environmental protesters in a standoff with a group of fishermen. The fishermen fire a shot to intimidate Thor and his group, which doesn't work. Rather, it causes Thor to show them why he's the god of thunder. Thor summons lightning, wind, and hail to scare the fishermen off, and they retreat. Fury shows up and greets Captain America, having heard of him. Fury invites him to the team as well, but he declines and burps. Before leaving, he hugs Captain America, because Steve has a conscience. On their way back to base, Steve notices an area of destruction in the city, and Fury explains to him that it was Dr. Bruce Banner who did it, after the accident he had with a large amount of gamma radiation that transformed him into the Raging Hulk, a monster powered by his rage. At the first meeting of the newly formed Avengers, Fury announces that they'll be led by Captain America. To everyone's surprise, Iron Man later walks into the meeting. Fury proceeds to let them in on their mission. A secret Nazi base tried to build and launch a nuclear weapon. They got those capabilities from aliens. Hank scoffs at the idea and doesn't believe them, but Steve informs him that they're very real as he's fought them. Fury continues, telling the group that the aliens, called Chitauri, went into hiding and they don't know why. They have 3 ships only, however, each lined with a special metal that S.H.I.E.L.D. was attempting to track. Because one ship was destroyed when Steve destroyed the nuke, S.H.I.E.L.D. was able to recover some of it. The unknown alloy, which they call vibranium, absorbs energy like a sponge. Only vibranium and a nuclear blast can penetrate them. The team then comments on how Tony Stark should, but isn't interested in helping develop more as there's no money involved. The enemy is formidable and Fury gives the team one last chance to back out, but none of them waver. We then cut to a military base in an undisclosed area where a soldier is attacked by an alien creature. By stabbing into him, the Chitauri alien is able to absorb the soldiers from and morph into him. Captain America is then brought into a lab that seems familiar, and causes him to relive his original transformation into a super soldier. As Dr. Banner takes blood sample, Steve tells him that he's aware that he's the Hulk. Banner gets emotional because the Hulk ruined his life. He believes that the super soldier serum will allow him to control the Hulk and help on the battlefield, expecting Steve to understand. Steve, however, believes he'd be much more useful in the lab than on the battlefield. Captain America then leaves after getting a call, and Bruce begins to lose control of himself before Betty gives him a shot of his meds. She's upset with him because he's been ignoring his meds. Fury then briefs Steve on the Chitauri alien intruder at the military base. The imposter killed all the staff and tried to access S.H.I.E.L.D.'s satellites. Their mission is to stop the alien from destroying the satellite and bring the alien back alive. He then gives Cap a new shield that's blended together with both vibranium and adamantium. The Chitauri alien then proceeds to hack the satellites as the team gathers at the base. The intruder's hack began downloading all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s data as he distributed bombs all around the facility. However, just as Captain America begins to explain the plan, Wasp flies off, open the doors for the rest of the team, despite Steve calling her to come back. Cap gives everyone their orders, but Giant Man feels he's being benched outside. As Wasp enters, however, she triggers the bomb sensors. Iron Man finds the intruder, as well as identifies the bombs around Wasp. She proceeds to disobey another one of Captain America's orders as she believes that she can't be hurt at her size. She's quickly proven wrong and Giant Man rushes in after her before getting shot at by the automatic guns. Following everyone else's lead, Iron Man also leaves his position against orders Tori and rescue Wasp. He finds her, but is then shot by an automatic gun and triggers more explosives. Giant Man grows large and begins hitting the outside of the building. Captain America then sees the Chitauri and goes after him, disabling some more automatic weaponry. It seems Steve and Black Widow are the only ones who are not amateurs. The Chitauri detonates the remaining explosives, which catch Giant Man by surprise, allowing the Chitauri to escape. Steve and Natasha find Iron Man and the Wasp, who is frantically trying to remove Iron Man's mask as his armor was depowered, and he's stopped getting any oxygen. Captain America is able to remove Iron Man's helmet, and the entire group is surprised to learn his identity. As they exit the Rubble, we see that Iron Man is none other than Tony Stark himself. Fury then gives Captain America and the team an earful, especially Giant Man, who left his post, letting the alien get away, and so Fury fires him. Janet then follows him and Iron Man takes off. Captain America also walks off upset and Black Widow follows after him to talk to him. Fury leaves on the plane he came on and calls Bruce Banner at the SSP lab. He wants to know the status of the serum and tells him to prepare all 12 of the candidates that they have. Banner agrees and we see him needing to take his medication again. We then see Captain America walking in the park next to S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters with Natasha waiting for him. He believes he failed and didn't think he was ready for a mission so soon, but she corrects him and lets him know that it was the team who failed him. His main worry is that someone could have died. Janet and Pym then argue. Janet wants to go back because it was their own faults, but Pym is done with Fury and walks away from her. Finally, we see Iron Man having a drink in Stark Tower and staring intently out his window, contemplating what had happened tonight. Fury then walks into the Super Soldier Program lab looking for Dr. Banner but stumbles upon Betty, who is shocked to hear that Bruce told Fury that the serum was finished. As Betty looks into things, she informs Fury that Bruce had not been working on the serum for the other candidates at all but only working on processing his own blood. They then find out that there were never any other candidate trials and all this time Bruce had only ever been working on himself. Bruce returns to the lab and catches the fury of General Fury, who is then alerted that the 3 Chitauri ships are on their way to attack S.H.I.E.L.D. He puts S.H.I.E.L.D. on DEFCON 5 and walks out, and before she can stop him, Bruce enters the rebirth chamber with the serum and turns it on. He then begins to transform into the Hulk. With his transformation complete, he walks out the rebirth chamber and proclaims to Betty that it worked. The scene shifts to outside and we see a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier begin to take off. Once in the sky, the helicarrier encounters 3 Chitauri spaceships. The fighter jets that accompanied the helicarrier begin firing at the spacecrafters, however, their missiles cause no damage at all. The Chitauri then counter-attack with energy blasts destroying the fighter jets. As the battle continues, the ships then start attacking the helicarrier, and the carrier begins to be overwhelmed by the assault. As it falls out of the sky, it crashes into the river just outside of S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters. The Chitauri ships then arrive at S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters and jam their communications and power with an EMP-like attack. Following that, the space ships then shoot out mini-pods that not only deal damage to S.H.I.E.L.D. HQ, but also have Chitauri alien soldiers lurking within them. War has just broken out with S.H.I.E.L.D. soldiers against Chitauri soldiers. The Chitauri have the upper hand due to their bodies being completely covered by vibranium, and their energy blasts begin disintegrating the S.H.I.E.L.D. soldiers. The Chitauri then make their way inside to where Fury and Natasha are. As they enter the lab, Bruce takes Betty to safety and proceeds to join the fight. Fury and Natasha arrive using vibranium-tipped ammo. They join up with Captain America, who uses his shield to both attack and defend. The Hulk then comes and tells Captain America to stay out of the fight, and unlike the fighter jets, the Hulk's attacks work and actually deal damage to one of the Chitauri spaceships, which he is able to bring crashing down into a nearby building below. The Hulk then continues his assault using a piece of the wrecked ship as a weapon. As S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and soldiers begin moving away from the battle zone, the Chitauri shoot down a building which, to everyone's surprise, is caught by Giant Man, who, alongside with Wasp and Iron Man, have come to join the fight. Captain America then proceeds to lead the charge against the invaders, and unlike the last time they were on a mission together, this time, they actually fight and work as a team. Wasp exposes a Chitauri armor that Stark blasts. Stark then throws a Chitauri alien towards Hank, who picks up and swings a fallen bridge to hit it like a baseball into a nearby ship. Iron Man is then able to use that opening Giant Man made to blast the inside of the ship and bring it crashing down. With only one ship remaining, Thor shows up, summons lightning, and uses it to destroy the last ship. Both Giant Man and Iron Man, however, mistaken, or purposefully recognize Thor for a woman because of his long golden hair. The battle's over and the team gathers around Hulk, who is still attacking the remaining Chitauri survivors. However, when Captain America approaches him to let him know that they've won, he loses control and knocks him far away from himself before proceeding to go after Iron Man and the other Avengers. The fight continues, and after flinging Iron Man into Nick Fury and Black Widow, the Hulk throws him all the way down to the ground level. Seeing this, Giant Man tries to step on the Hulk, but the Hulk gets out of the way and then smashes Giant Man's right knee and lobs a large rock at his head, knocking him out. The Wasp also tries to get in between them, but the Hulk just claps and uses the shockwave from the clap to knock her away unconscious right next to Giant Man. While the Wasp may not have done much damage to the Hulk, her energy sting blasts did hurt and impair his vision. This then gives Thor the opening to land a devastating attack with his legendary hammer, Mjolnir. However, even after that powerful attack, the Hulk was still able to get up and continue fighting, which made Thor acknowledge just how powerful the Hulk really is in comparison to his usual opponents. Thor and the Hulk then begin fighting each other one-on-one, which allows Betty to approach and wake up the unconscious Captain America, who asks her how to stop Bruce from further rampaging. Captain America then suggests that they try to use Bruce's medicine to calm him down. Betty agrees with that plan and says that it could work if she 20 times the dose, which prompts Captain America to send her off to prepare the medicine and grab as much of it as she can and return to the battlefield. Back to the battle between the Hulk and Thor. The Hulk then grabs a nearby tank, rips off the missile attack mechanism and uses it like a baseball bat, with Thor as the baseball and Hulk sending him flying. While Thor is knocked back by that attack, he drops his hammer, which catches the Hulk's attention. The Hulk then steps towards Mjolnir and attempts to lift it. It proves too difficult for him, and at first, it doesn't budge at all. But then, to Thor's shock and horror, Hulk lifts the hammer, and then chucks it right at Thor's head, knocking him out. Just before Hulk proceeds to cut Thor's head off, Captain America rushes and tackles him. His experience keeps in the fight, but eventually, Hulk's raw strength overpowers Captain America. As the Hulk is about to stomp Captain America to death, Giant Man steps in and catches him. He can hold him in his grip, however, and the Hulk proceeds to choke him out and attempt to crush his chest before getting stopped by the Wasp. Her stings merely distract him long enough for Captain America to regain consciousness and draw his focus to him with his shield. Just then, Iron Man finally comes to and rejoins the battle, blasting the Hulk with his energy beams and slams him into the building. Hulk quickly knocks him back, however, and begins pummeling him until Captain America steps in again. Hulk kicks him away just as Nick Fury and Black Widow join the fight and start shooting at him. Hulk retaliates by throwing a helicopter propeller at them. We then cut to Betty scramblings and getting Hulk's medication just as Captain America and Hulk go at it once more. Betty gives Captain America a medicine gun that will administer Bruce's meds to the Hulk, while Iron Man and Giant Man attempt to distract the beast. Iron Man launches his uni-beam at the Hulk and Giant Man follows it up with a punch to slam him into the ground. But the Hulk is barely fazed. Captain America is unable to get a line of sight to fire the medicine at the Hulk, so the Wasp enters his ear to distract him. He gets her out and notices what Captain America is doing, so he throws a rock straight at his head, knocking the Captain back and shattering the medicine gun. Then, as the Hulk is bear hugging and crushing Captain America, Black Widow picks up the medicine vial and stabs the Hulk with it in the back. Hulk then knocks Black Widow away and runs to attack her, but is stopped by Betty Ross standing in the way. She attempts to calm him down while the medicine is in his back. The others stay away to allow her calm him down so that he doesn't burn through the sedative. This works and the Hulk faints while saying Betty's name. The Hulk then finally transforms back into Bruce Banner. The next day we see that Bruce is isolated in a holding tank with a very guilty expression on his face. Betty visited him but doesn't know what to say to him, so she leaves. We then see that Captain America is in a hospital bed at S.H.I.E.L.D. when he gets a visit from his old army pal Bucky Barnes and his former love, now Bucky's wife, Gail. This is a moment that they both needed, and Gail tells Captain America that she's had a good life, and it's now time for him to have one too. As Steve steps outside using crutches, he is met by the whole team, who has prepared a lunch party for them all. They all toast to Captain America, who fought to the end defending them. Even Hank has warmed up to him, followed by Natasha, who kisses him on the lips before walking away. Thor, of course, is drinking a lot of beer while the others help Captain America to his seat. We then cut to Nick Fury, who's been watching them all from a room upstairs just as Natasha walks in. Fury can't believe that it's finally over and that the Avengers pulled it together. They both agree that it's because they had a great leader. Captain America motions for them to rejoin the party, and as they walk out, Fury leaves the local paper on a desk that shows the Avengers on the front page in a triumphant picture. They did it. They won. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment on the video. Also, click the notification bell to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads. We'll see you all again next time.